In federal politics, it was a year of great contrast that climaxed only a few weeks ago when Labor was returned to office in the elections. With Bob Hawke, never before had Australia such a popular Prime Minister or such an unpopular opposition leader. But all that was to change during the campaign. It seemed Bob Hawke could do no wrong. He danced his way to a record 74% popularity. Backed the winner of the Melbourne Cup. Even starred as a cricket commentator.
He's such a magnificent fieldsman.
Although his expertise did appear to leave him when he walked onto the pitch. Politically, there were setbacks too. Potentially the most damaging, the so-called age tape allegations that eventually led to a Senate inquiry into High Court Judge Lionel Murphy. The majority findings that on the balance of probabilities, the conduct of Justice Murphy had an actual tendency to pervert the course of justice in the Sydney court case involving solicitor Morgan Ryan. The Director of Public Prosecutions later found that charges should be laid against Murphy and Sydney Judge John Ford for their roles in the Morgan Ryan case. The corruption issue dominated parliamentary debates as well and led to a remarkable outburst by opposition leader Andrew Peacock that the Prime Minister and other prominent Labor politicians were involved in crime.
He called the Prime Minister a little crook who was being aided by the corrupt princes of the Labor Party, Neville Wran and Paul Keating.
Mr. Peacock said his comments would be supported by the final Costigan report into the painters and dockers. This did not eventuate in the volumes made public, although the claims clearly upset the Prime Minister.
You don't cease to be a husband. You don't cease to be a father. And my children and my wife have a right to be protected in this matter.
The reason for the tears became clear a few days later when Hazel Hawke revealed that their youngest daughter, Rosalind, and her husband, Matt, were heroin addicts.
That, I think, was what was so difficult for Bob to just not be able to, if you like, absorb that shock properly or do the grieving about that shock. It was sitting there like a lump.
The news had little effect on the Prime Minister's popularity. When Australia's longest ever federal election campaign began in October, Labor still had a clear lead. With the government running on its record, the opposition made small gains with promises of tax cuts, the scrapping of the assets test, and a good showing by Andrew Peacock in the country's first ever televised election debate. But no one expected the big turnabout that happened on election day. Political analysts were predicting a landslide for Hawke, but when the counting was over, it was the opposition that picked up seats. They halved the government's majority and left Bob Hawke under fire from within his own party for running a bad election campaign. In the wash-up, Andrew Peacock's leadership was assured, with the coalition needing only a 1.7% swing to win government.
The resurgence was as I felt it throughout the nation, and if I can do that in 50 days, just think of what I'll do in the next 1,000. Thank you all very much indeed.